one thing I want to ask you, we have two nuts and bolts that we use with this technique. We have our emotion and we have our objective. And you've watched some of my videos on YouTube, is that right?
I've seen like a few of them, yeah.
A few of them. I don't know if you saw one of them where I talk about the objective, which is what your character is thinking about in the scene. What he wants, what he's trying to do in the scene. So what do you think you're trying to do in the scene?
I think I'm trying to not convince him, but I think I'm trying to persuade him not to go, maybe.
What if you're trying to understand why he's going?
Well, I would say, but the thing about that is that when he says just doing someone a favor, because I mean, he does.
What's that?
Because in at the beginning when I asked, he says just doing someone a favor, which of course I know that there's more than just that, but I don't know, I didn't think that.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is it possible that you're trying to understand how your brother doesn't get it?
That he shouldn't be.
That we should not be going to those parties because we're seen as just toys.
Less than.
So then we kind of see you trying to understand where your brother's coming from or make sense of how your brother is thinking. So we kind of see you kind of studying him and analyzing him to sort of figure out what didn't he learn? How does he not know this?
Right, okay.
When you're saying something, he said, when you say, he says, what does that mean? You're like, what are you talking? You know what it means? Like, how can you not know what it means? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No, I get it.
So what I'd like to see you work on in the scene is you kind of continuing trying to put A plus B equals C together. I'm trying to sort of follow, like, how do you tick? How do you tick, Doug? How do you not see this? So I think what happens sometimes is because the lines, are written a certain tone or a certain way, you don't want to use the dialogue to tell you how you're feeling. You don't want to use the dialogue that you say to dictate how you're feeling, because the dialogue has little or nothing to do with how you're feeling. People say, I've used this example many times, but I can say the line, hey, it's great to see you. And I can say it when I really am not happy to see you. So just because I'm saying it's great to see you does not mean I'm happy to see you. So if you're using the dialogue to dictate your behavior, that's the mistake. So then, if you're saying these lines and you're saying, well, I'm trying to I understand why you're going. It doesn't necessarily mean that you understand why he's going.
Well, I think I agree, and I mean, even though he does say, that's why I say, even though he says just doing someone a favor, you kind of get the gist that I'm still trying to understand, because I say, like, you still don't get it, do you?
Right.
Or when he doesn't get the wrong side of the tracks analogy.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
So you see this part where you're like, Eleanor was just looking for a way out, that whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
When you're saying it, you need to say it still trying to understand if Doug gets it. So when you're saying it, it's like, hey, Eleanor was from the other side of the tracks, it's not, you didn't get enough sleep from the boys in the world, you have to fuck boys from the wrong side of the tracks. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Doug?
Okay.
So I'm kind of, you want to have a scene have conflict.
Right.
So this is going to give you something to fight for. This is going to give you something to do. So you're always sort of, following Doug to see, do you get it? Do you understand? And even as the scene goes on, as Doug and you continue to have your conversation, it doesn't necessarily mean that Doug gets it by the end of the scene. It can be that even at the end of the scenes, Doug still doesn't follow you. And that way, you'll still have something to do. When he said, you even say, believe it or not, I don't care. And then Doug says, you're full of shit. And then even here, you're like, then don't you go ask, I'm trying to understand how you don't know that either. Then go ask mom. Ask her what happened. Ask her why she doesn't have, as many friends. Ask her why she got never invited to the Abbotts. Ask her which side of the tracks we live on. Do you understand, Doug? Make sense?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I got it.
All right. So That's what I want to see you doing. I don't want you to know the answer.
Okay.
I want you to be trying to put together how Doug is missing this. All right?
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Good job, man. It was really a nice start. And I think what we'll do is, you know, at the end of class, we'll figure out who you're going to end up doing the scene with for next time. And because we'll have you, you know, do the scene with the scene partner for next time. Okay.